here's Brody Brazil.
I definitely don't make a lot of videos here on YouTube based on comments or responses that I get from those of you here viewing, but I did want to make this point. For anybody that's been critical and said that I hate Las Vegas or I don't think baseball can work in Las Vegas, that is absolutely not true, and here's proof. In this video, I'm literally going to spell out how Major League Baseball could work in Southern Nevada, just not how it's being proposed with the A's plans and projections. And yeah, full disclosure, you know my feelings. I want the A's to remain in Oakland, but I'm also saying there is a much better option for Major League Baseball in the state of Nevada and in Las Vegas. And it all begins with number one, an expansion franchise. I know you'll say that trying to lure the A's would be easier than waiting for an expansion franchise. Do you know that for sure? Once Oakland and Tampa get resolved, baseball's expanding by 2 more teams. You know one is out east in Nashville. Why wouldn't you be the West Coast team? We also know from the perspective of Las Vegans, you value homegrown products like the Golden Knights, like the whole Vegas-born mantra. Things that start from scratch, things that you own, things that are not from somewhere else. We know this about you. You know this about you. So in my opinion, one of the biggest aspects of baseball working in Las Vegas is to give you your own thing. New name, new colors, new history that starts with you from scratch. I also think the location would have to be completely different than the Tropicana Hotel site. And one of the places that was under consideration by the A's, they just couldn't lock down a deal, was the site of the Rio Hotel. Dreamscape, is that the company? They just have like almost $1 billion, $800+ million to now pump into that site and the future of that project. The Rio site, in my opinion, is more perfect because it's close enough to the Strip, but it's not on it. There's a lot more land to build. There's a lot less traffic. You can do amenities. You can do your little Ballpark Village. Let me just visually show this to you here for a second. There's the Rio Hotel. There, right there, is a parking lot of 13.75 acres. And look at the view you would have of the Strip day and night. You have all the space. You know, people say that I'm too critical of 9 acres and you can't do a retractable roof. If you told me that's where it was going to be, yeah, you can definitely do a retractable roof and other things on 13.75 acres. It's been done in Major League Baseball. But on 9 acres, it's never been done. And again, the view of the Strip. How are you supposed to view the Strip when not only Bally's is going to build some high rises out in center, right, and left field, because you know they're going to put other structures on the, 26 other acres of that site at the Tropicana right now. When they level it, then they'll rebuild. Here, you could literally have that ballpark that is supposed to face east, like this. East is right towards the Strip. That's the view you want. You can't have the view when you're literally in the shadows of the view. You need to be away a little bit of a distance. And more on why this is the best of both worlds in just a second. I mean, you get locals that want to come here. You can have tourists that are just a short hike away over a pedestrian bridge. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we'll talk about that in just a second. You need to have a retractable roof structure, okay? Because you definitely can't do the outdoor stadium. That just does not work in the middle of summer. And I don't think anybody wants a full-on dome, especially if there's going to be buildings around it. You want to be able to see in this ballpark when and where you can. You also want to take advantage of May and April and some of those nights where it can actually be open and be really nice. Plus all of the off-season weather nights. And if you do a retractable roof structure, you can probably do some type of actual grass surface. Major League Baseball teams and the Major League Baseball Players Association, they do not want a brand new stadium that is going to be another artificial turf venue. The more real grass they can get and play on, that's what's preferred. That's what's better. But again, I don't think any other consideration can happen here than a retractable roof structure. Think about it. You've already got Allegiant Stadium, closed dome. T-Mobile Arena, closed dome. Every other venue, new and major venue in Las Vegas, has a roof. It's closed. this is your chance to do something that opens and closes, and that makes this venue unique for Las Vegas. I think on this site at the Rio Hotel, 13 plus acres, a Ballpark Village. You can do it here. Those were only 13 acres of parking lot for the Rio. How about all the other land that they have there that they could develop? Energize that site because it's not the Strip. Now, we'll be honest, it's not the Strip. It needs something new and attractive. And you can do that with the land that's there. Now, all of this goes against SB1 because that was permanently tied to the Tropicana site in terms of public money. And yet all this stuff might cost more than $1.5 billion. But this is how I think Major League Baseball works in Las Vegas under these circumstances. I think you got to put plenty of parking at any Major League Baseball site you do. You can talk to me about Allegiant. You can talk to me about T-Mobile, but this is 81 times a summer. This is a high volume of a lot of people. Like at least 10,000, probably more like 13, 14,000 more than a Golden Knights game. And yeah, half of a Raider football game, but you have a lot of out-of-towners going to those Raider football games, and they just walk over to the hotels. You need to make sure that locals who are driving to this area, not the Strip, but they're enticed to still go because they know they can park and that there's plenty of parking. And then, you know what, maybe at these sites or this location, the Rio, it's not $120 to park like it would be at the MGM or Park MGM, the other hotel, the old Monte Carlo. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up and I'm a little old school. You know what I'm saying though. Plenty of parking that makes it attractive to locals has got to be part of this mix. Okay, we also want tourists to come, right? So put a pedestrian bridge or a people mover or some kind of elevated system and setup that gets fans to and from the Strip. And if you just saw what I saw there, that view of it, you could literally have it go over the I-15, over the other streets, right to where Caesars is. Now you're like mid to North Strip. And aren't there other ways between a monorail and a tram? There's other ways to get up and down the Strip. But if you do that right there, you're not closing it off to tourists. And don't get me wrong. Tourists have to be part of this equation. People that come and stay at the hotels, you cannot lean on just locals, but I don't know that you can or want to lean on 30% of tourists for games against Cleveland or Detroit or Cincinnati or Kansas City, you name it. Just not the higher like attractive teams to watch. Like you need to rely on your local fan base like the Golden Knights have done, but also have a way that tourists can come here. And that's a way to do it, a pedestrian bridge. It's not as far, as long, or as difficult as you think, quite honestly. So that's how I'd get visitors to the Rio site. Here's something, and I should do a whole separate video on this, that I've had a realization about as I've thought about this. How could Major League Baseball work in Las Vegas? Well, my son is 6 years old. I don't know that I'm taking him to the Las Vegas Strip anytime soon. And not to get too deep into parenting and life decisions here, but I'm not a person who's going to shelter him from everything in the world. I'm absolutely not. But I also think we can all realize that the Strip is a place for adults. Billboards, solicitations, visuals, offers. You've been there, I've been there, we've all been there. And I think a Major League Baseball stadium is pretty well established as a place that you want to take your kids. And the more I think about this, it's crazy. I always thought actually that, if you go to Vegas, you got to put a ballpark on the Strip. Well, now I'm realizing that for the type of crowd, like once you get closer to the realization of what this needs to be, this is not what you want on the Strip with families coming there. The Strip is not meant for 6-year-olds. But a ballpark at the Rio site, that could be much more geared as a family-friendly location. And again, what's everybody's definition of family-friendly? It's different, obviously. But I think we all have to agree at the baseline level, you can take your kids down to the Strip, but beware because there's some conversations to be had about what you might see. Okay, so I gave it to you. the best path for Major League Baseball in Las Vegas. Yeah, I get it. It coincides with my desires of the A's to stay in Oakland. And it's also amazing that like Las Vegas, as I've painted it out here, is a possibility. And Oakland, as we know, with Howard Terminal and the plans that have gotten so far there, that's also a possibility. And there's going to be an expansion team out west. But after all this, we have to choose one or the other. Like, we can have both. We should have both. This should be the expansion team. This is how baseball could and should work in Las Vegas. This is the mic. It's on a stand. If it wasn't, I feel like I should do a mic drop right now. Feel like I should also do one of those cool sound effects. Where is it here? Oh, I thought I had the air horn. That's all I had. Hi, Scooter. Oh. Yeah, there we go. All right. Hey, you made it here to the end of the video. You know I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below for that. Comment if you like. Keep it sane. Keep it smart. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel so that I can definitely see you back here next time.